in the next financial perspective, which is a multi-annual framework for financing in the EU, it's foreseen that the European Union should spend roughly 95 billion euros to kind of external activities, among other things, development aid, different neighboring policies, different assistance projects, all different kind of external activities. It's a big amount of money, and it's also agreed that at least something from the field of development aid should be dedicated to critical infrastructure building and also cybersecurity. So if now we look around, we see that the European Union is conducting a lot of different projects in third countries in the field of cybersecurity. And not necessarily all these projects are supporting each other. And I would say also that the different entities who are behind the projects are, in many occasions, they are not aware about the different other projects that are ongoing in the same country, in the same field, etc. So the idea of the network, or behind the network, was the simple fact that we should coordinate our activities better. If the European Union is financing something elsewhere in the field of cybersecurity, either a capacity building or training or whatever is linked to with cybersecurity in third countries, this should be coordinated somehow. And so that's why the Commission came up with the idea that let's set up a network where we would have experts on the one hand, and on the other hand the beneficiary countries and the different beneficiary agencies. And let's try to bring together the expectations and also the possible offers. So this is something which was now outsourced from it was a public tender, and we won the tender together with the Luxembourg Cybersecurity Center, the Finnish Cybersecurity Center, and the German Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And our task now is to set up the network, to set up the structures, to ensure that there will be at least, in minimum, 500 cybersecurity experts from different European countries involved. There will be 200 different international agencies and EU agencies involved, and we would have a proper channel for coordinating the activities in third countries, and we would have a proper understanding on what are the expectations and needs of third countries. That's a very good question. I mean, I can tell at the moment that all these agencies that you mentioned are already stakeholders, so they are part of the network. So they will be either the ones who are contributing with their expertise, or the ones who would be, in some circumstances, also beneficiaries of the programs. Nevertheless, I mean, they have their own core functions. I mean, Europol is fighting crime, ENISA is supporting the member states' cooperation in the field of cybersecurity, and each and every different cyber agency in the European Union is taking care of their network security and information security in their country. What the network is about is bringing all this expertise together and helping third countries outside of Europe to increase their cybersecurity capacity, awareness, and develop their own capabilities at home. Starting from why it's important, well, let's take some very clear examples. I mean, a couple of ransomware campaigns that were causing billions of euros damage all over Europe and elsewhere were all transborder or cross-border, with cross-border nature. So, for example, NotPetya, which took place, I mean, or was the one we saw in 2017, started from Ukraine and then rolled all over Europe and different other international or other countries. So the nature of cybersecurity doesn't have borders. I mean, there's yes, I mean, there are some networks that you can take care domestically, but I mean, if you pay attention to any of the events happening in the field of cybercrime, you recognize that it's with such a cross-border nature that each and every other country plays a very significant role. So the overall idea is that besides doing our homework properly, and besides taking care of our own networks and our own information system security at home, we should pay more attention also to what our neighbors are doing, and also what the development world is doing, what the different neighboring countries to the European Union are doing. Because if we are not the weakest point and they are the weakest point, then in the end of the day it will affect us as well. And that's something which I think is not a recognition or understanding that we have realized in Europe, but something that is globally, where global attention has been paid off. So if you take example the Estonian campaign to the United Nations Security Council, I mean, one of the core messages that we had there was that we need more robust cooperation in the field of cybersecurity globally. So it's not a mere issue for Europe, it's not a mere issue for Estonia, it's a global matter. Why Estonia? I think the only reason is that we have we have something to share. I mean, we have our own stories, we have went through different crises, we have developed a very strong community internally. So we have experience, and if you look around, then for example the Network and Information Security Directive in Europe was basically drafted on the basis of Estonian experience. So all the different capabilities that now are obligatory for different member states were the ones that we had developed earlier here. And so it's a nice copy-paste of our best practices. And I think what we have is simply, we have some experience to share, we have some experts, very good experts in the field, very solid companies, not too many, but still the ones that we have are very well known globally. So I think that's the kind of image that we have developed over the years, and that's certainly a very strong interest for us as well. Because if you look at the Estonian e-governance system, then we are very heavily dependent on digital solutions. So the cybersecurity is the other side of the coin. I mean, we need to ensure that the systems are functioning properly in a secure manner. So we have invested much more than any other country on the cybersecurity. I would say that I think more and more the world is moving in a direction that the individual simply can't know all about the technology and all about the updates and the vulnerabilities. It's simply too much for her. So it would be the more and more burdensome or more responsibility will be on the side of the technology to regulate it properly and to ensure that all the updates are running properly and will be enforced to the devices that the people are using. Because just counting on the fact that somebody with whose I don't know, key responsibilities are not to work with the IT equipment on a daily basis or develop, well, I mean, to be a system administrator or to be a kind of architect, it simply ends up in a situation where people simply don't know everything what's happening around. So I could say that the key recommendation for the average computer user is simply that don't be naive. And secondly, pay attention to the devices that you're using. I mean, try to avoid a situation where you're using where you're using too old devices or software which is too old or which is. And pay attention to the updates that you receive. Update your devices regularly and your software regularly. But don't be naive in the sense that, I mean, if you receive an email asking for your personal details or your credit card numbers, or you receive an email which looks strange, don't open the attachments, don't go to the website where they ask you to provide some details, because the criminals are very professional and they're using the same standard methods that they have used over the years. Simply they get more and more sophisticated. The letters that we used to receive maybe 20 years ago from Nigeria about some kings who would like to transfer billions of euros to your personal accounts now have transposed to a new format whereby your own CEO is sending you an email asking you to make a transfer from your financial account to another one because there is some bills not yet paid, and it looks realistic. It looks very similar. It looks very I mean, it looks like real. So, but there is something suspicious always with that. So don't be naive. I think that's first thing. And secondly, I mean, if your device, whatever you're using, is insisting that you need to update something, please do it. I mean, it's for your own safety. I mean, it's not very comfortable, but it's for your own safety. And thirdly, I mean, if you're running a business and I mean, in Estonia, we have a high number of small and medium enterprises. Try to look around and buy in the service for cybersecurity. I mean, try to buy in the workstations, the software, and the proper network connection in combination with the backups that you need. I mean, because professionals can help you out, and the more I see how the market is developing, then the big telecom operators and the big IT companies are coming to the market already with packages targeting different stakeholders, I mean different entrepreneurs. And in the end of the day, the investment that you make, maybe it's a 50 euro per month, saves you a lot of money, saves you a lot of time, and manages your risks appropriately. It's much better than handling everything by yourself, because you simply are not aware about all the different risks, and you are not aware about all the different new vulnerabilities that emerge. And they do. Technology is always in a development, and there's no safe technology. There's always something which needs to be patched. There's always something that needs to be fixed. So it's good if you can leave it to professionals. And I think the market for cybersecurity is developing and maturing in a way that sooner or later we will see very comfortable packages and offers coming on the market where you can buy a lot of services which currently are your own responsibility.